Our story kicks off with a reflective vibe as our protagonist gazes out the window, pondering the strangeness of her own oblivion. Her fiancé, who should be her knight in shining armor, was actually romancing her sister. Yep, you heard it right. The dude was sneaking around, taking secret strolls, and the servants had all the tea. Our leading lady wished she could just ignore the whole mess. Our main gal is having a serious moment, thinking back to how her sister, born on the same day, always managed to steal the spotlight. Talk about sibling rivalry. Her sister's frail health meant everything revolved around her, leaving our protagonist feeling like an extra in her own life story. Our protagonist finds herself at a family gathering, celebrating her 11th birthday. But instead of joy, she feels overshadowed. As she tries to make a wish, her mother dismisses her with a gentle but firm reminder to be a good sister to Irene. The weight of being in the background becomes all too clear. So, picture this. It's the protagonist's 11th birthday bash. But guess what? It's all about her sister, Irene. Our protagonist is feeling like a side character in her own party. As she tries to muster up the courage to speak, her mom swoops in, reminding her to be the best sister ever. Meanwhile, Irene's over there making wishes like a birthday queen, and our girl just wishes she could say she's grateful for Irene's existence. The gifts keep rolling in for Irene, and the protagonist can't help but feel like she's just been benched. It's a birthday, but not quite her day, you feel me? As the party continues, chaos suddenly erupts. Someone named Riel collapses and everyone jumps into action, leaving our protagonist standing there like a forgotten party favor. The scene is all about Irene again, as she's scooped up and whisked away, leaving our girl feeling even more invisible. Fast forward 6 years, and we're at the Royal Academy, where our protagonist is juggling school life and the constant shadow of her sister, Riel's health troubles. She's got class materials in hand, but alas, duty calls, and she's out the door to tend to her sister. Despite the chaos, there's a silver lining: friends. Our protagonist finds her first ever pals who stick by her side, giving her a glimmer of hope in this whirlwind of academy life. Our protagonist notices her friends drifting away and suspects her sister Riel is behind it. Riel, with her innocent face, seems to have played a part, but our protagonist can't get mad. Instead, she steps up to be the good older sis, keeping her cool even after graduation. Our protagonist finds herself at a fancy banquet, standing in for her father. There she meets Boris Garten, a charming fellow who seems to know all about her family's struggles. But instead of running for the hills, Boris sticks around, showering her with kindness and support. And just like that, Boris pops the big question: Irene, will you marry me? Our protagonist is caught in a web of uncertainty, feeling like a puppet under the looming shadow of her sister Riel. She ponders the stakes if she were to lose Boris Garten, the man who stood by her when her family was on the brink of ruin. Her mind races back to the rushed engagement ceremony, where Boris, ever the gentleman, promises to wait until she's ready, showing his respect and patience. Our protagonist is caught in a whirlwind of emotions as she stumbles upon her sister Riel and her own fiancé sharing a suspiciously cozy moment. With a mix of anger and disbelief, she questions their so-called innocence. Riel, looking a bit under the weather, tries to calm the storm, but our girl ain't buying it. "Do I look stupid to you?" she fires back, while Riel tries to convince her it's just a misunderstanding. Amidst a tense atmosphere, our protagonist confronts Riel, demanding to know why she turned away on that fateful day. Riel, looking frail, drops a bombshell. She's renouncing their sisterhood. The emotional roller coaster doesn't stop there, as Irene jumps in, fiery as ever, and Boris is kicked to the curb. In a dramatic twist, our protagonist, feeling the sting of betrayal, takes a bold stand. She removes her ring, declaring an end to the engagement. The air is thick with emotion, as petals fall like a symbolic release from the tangled web of deceit. Our leading lady, now a powerhouse of self-determination, declares that she's gonna live for herself, mic drop style. She tells the butler to pack up her stuff and move it all to the 3rd floor. The butler is scratching his head, wondering what's up with this sudden change. Our protagonist, with a newfound resolve, declares it's time to live life on her own terms. She orders the butler to relocate her stuff to the 3rd floor, leaving him in shock. No more following others' rules. She's calling the shots now. Our determined protagonist is taking charge, telling the butler to move her stuff upstairs. She's got plans, folks, and ain't nobody stopping her now. With a newfound resolve, she's ready to make some big moves, and she's feeling a cocktail of nerves and excitement. As the door swings open, our protagonist is met with an intense glare from her mother. "Mother," she mutters, but there's no time for pleasantries. The air is thick with tension as the mother accuses her of being a disrespectful wench. Apparently, the fiancé's been spilling the tea, and mom's not having it. She drops the bombshell. Riel almost kicked the bucket, and guess who's getting the blame? Our protagonist, with a determined gaze, faces off against her mother, challenging the accusation that Riel's illness is her fault. She's not buying it. She questions why Riel isn't seen as a stranger, pouring out her heartache about always being the one to make sacrifices. It's like she's been living in a reality show, but without the cameras. All she ever wanted was a bit of love and attention, but instead, it's always about Riel. Alright, so here's the scoop. The protagonist's mom, with her stern but caring vibe, is trying to smooth things over with Irene. She says, "Alright, Irene, I know how hard it's been for you." But then, she pulls the classic move and shifts the focus back to Riel, worried about her fainting spells. Our protagonist, with her thoughtful expression, catches a whiff of hope from this unexpected sprinkle of kindness. But there's a hint of something broken, like shattered glass, in her heart. Our protagonist takes a deep breath, planning to check on Riel later. Just as Irene is about to exit the scene, the protagonist's emotions burst out, leaving her in tears. It's a heartfelt moment as she grapples with an undeniable truth. In this heartfelt moment, our protagonist takes a trip down memory lane, staring at a family portrait where Riel shines in the spotlight. She can't help but feel like a side character in her own life. As she huddles against the wall, tears streaming down, she wonders if her high hopes were just setting herself up for heartbreak. Maybe, just maybe, she expected too much from Irene. Our protagonist sits by the window, lost in thought. It's been a hot minute since she's had a moment to herself. She starts unpacking and stumbles upon an old drawing, sparking a memory of when she used to let her creativity flow. But family drama had her shelving those dreams. As she wonders if they were ever a real family, she knows deep down things gotta change. Our protagonist, deep in thought, sits by the window with a determined look. She's had enough of the fake family vibes and decides it's time to bounce from this house and chase her own dreams. Our main character sits in deep thought, pen in hand, asking herself the tough question, but what should I do? She's got her whole life ahead, and it's time to make some moves. The weight of the Chase family's long history is heavy, but she's ready to write her own chapter. Our protagonist's resolve to break free is as firm as ever, and now we see the streets alive with military patrols, questioning everyone in sight. The air is thick with tension, but she's got her pen ready, drafting a letter to win over the knights. It's all about strategy, baby. Our protagonist sits pensively, ink spilling as thoughts swirl about making a deal to dodge any legal chains. Her mind dances around the escape plan, the only ticket out from this gloomy family saga. In a moment filled with symbolism, our protagonist holds a knife, pondering the weight of her decision. Her mind is set on cutting ties with her past, and she reflects on the price of her freedom being marriage. It's a classic, what have I gotten myself into vibe. Alright folks, we kick things off with a breathtaking view of this epic castle under the clear sky. It's all glitz and glam, but hold up, someone's not too impressed. We hear a voice chiming in, your solution doesn't make any sense, and you just know things are about to get spicy. Inside the grand castle, the tension is palpable. One character expresses their frustration over a nonsensical solution, while another, standing in front of an impressive portrait, ponders the next move, asking, then, what should we do? In the grand setting of a majestic castle, a conversation brews. One character vents their frustration, claiming the solution makes no sense. A silver-haired figure, deep in thought, asks, then, what should we do? Suddenly a light bulb moment hits. Why don't we try asking them first? Our thoughtful friend ponders, if we ask a lot, what could they be scheming now? In the grand setting of a majestic castle, a conversation begins with someone voicing their frustration, claiming that a certain solution doesn't make any sense. Another character, standing with an air of contemplation before a portrait, asks, "Then what should we do?" A new suggestion pops up. Why don't we try asking them first? The contemplative figure muses, "If we ask a lot." The decision is made to proceed with the plan, as the contemplative figure confidently declares, "All right, let's do that first." All right, folks, let's dive into the life of Noel Kirsten. Picture this. Our dude is chilling with a book, but his backstory? Not so chill. Noel, the product of Archduke Kirsten's little oopsie, starts off in the shadows. But life throws a curveball when the Archduke's eldest son bites the dust in a horse riding accident. Suddenly, Noel's the heir, but Grandpa? Yeah, he's not a fan. Now, let's talk about Noel's predicament. Our white-haired young man, Noel, is grappling with the conditions his grandfather laid out to keep him from the family fortune. Staring out pensively, he wonders, marriage, who would even want me? Meanwhile, the grand estate is filled with the sound of family laughter, painting a stark contrast to Noel's lonely thoughts. As the scene unfolds, a brown-haired woman in a green dress steps into the grand dining room, apologizing for her tardiness. She used to dread walking in alone, always bringing someone named Rai. But now, with a newfound confidence, she strolls in solo. Turns out, she's done seeking family approval. Who needs it anyway? So, in the dining room, things are getting spicy. Irene, the brown-haired woman in the green dress, is sitting across from a blonde woman who's throwing some serious shade. The blonde's all like, "I fainted yesterday, and you should feel sorry." But Irene isn't having it. She's like, "Why would I feel sorry? You kissed my fiancé." Talk about drama at the dinner table. All right, folks, the drama in the dining room ain't over yet. The red-haired dude's all like, "Is that true, Ree?" And the blonde woman just loses it, confessing she's been jealous of Irene. Turns out, Boris was playing his own game, seducing her left and right. As tears flow, the room's filled with whispers and sympathy, while Irene stands there, piecing it all together. As Irene steps out of the dining room, she's got that fierce determination in her eyes. She's tired of her struggles being swept under the rug and is ready to claim her space. She turns to her maid, making it clear that her orders come first from now on. No more being ignored. Irene's got plans, and they involve a whole lot of dress trying. Irene is on a mission, folks. She's got her hands on an invite to a fancy shindig at Duchess Seymour's place. Reflecting on her past, where she skipped out on all the cool parties to handle business, she's now ready to dive back in. With the help of her trusty maid, she picks out a stunning yellow dress. You can almost hear her thinking, "Time to shine." Irene stands in front of the mirror, marveling at her reflection in the yellow gown that complements her dark hair and eyes. She's a bit taken aback, wondering if that's truly her staring back. Her maid, ever the hype woman, assures her she looks beautiful, sealing the deal with a warm smile. With newfound confidence, Irene instructs her to call for the carriage, ready to make her grand entrance at the Duchess's mansion. Irene, looking absolutely fabulous in her yellow dress, is stepping out to a banquet. Her sister is all like, "Whoa, sis, where you headed?" Irene casually drops to a banquet. Her sister, clearly shook, wonders why Irene's suddenly back in the social scene. Irene, looking like a sunflower in her yellow gown, decides she's done with holding back for the sake of others. In the meantime, her enthusiastic sister wants to tag along, but a red-haired man, probably her father, steps in, reminding her about being careful. With a gentle nudge, he emphasizes her need to chill for now. Irene, rocking her stunning yellow dress, makes a bold move by telling her sister she doesn't need any help. With her heart pounding, she realizes it's her first time saying no to someone and looks forward to the freedom waiting at the Duchess's mansion. She's ready to break free from the past. Irene, strutting in her fabulous yellow dress, makes a bold declaration of independence, leaving her sister in the dust. With a heart full of anxiety and excitement, she takes her first steps towards freedom, dreaming big. Determined to make new friends and explore the outside world, she steps into her new life. As she enters, the world meets Irene Chase, the daughter of the Chase family, ready to take on whatever comes next. All right, folks, it's time for the grand entrance. Irene Chess is now entering the scene, and boy, does she know how to make an impression. The crowd can't stop buzzing about her, whispering how different she seems from the rumors. Instead of the Ice Queen they expected, Irene shines with unexpected grace and poise. But hey, she's nervous too, telling herself, "It's okay, I won't give up." Let's see how she handles the spotlight. As Irene Chess continues to dazzle the room, she gracefully interacts with a guest who seems quite taken by her charm. The guest remarks on the pleasure of seeing her at the banquet, hinting that her presence is indeed something special. They invite Irene to join their table, and the conversation turns to her family, sparking interest about their historical significance. The room buzzes with whispers about young Lord Kirsten's appearance at the banquet. Gossip lovers, hold your horses. The chatter shifts to His Highness, possibly on the lookout for a bride. Could there be wedding bells in the future? The intrigue is thicker than the dessert's frosting. Irene Chess, amidst the whispers and clinking teacups, hears the juicy gossip about young Lord Kirsten's search for a bride. The tea is hot. He's expected to marry someone the Grand Duke approves of, all to bag the Kirsten duchy. Irene listens intently, her presence at the event causing quite the stir. As the chatter about young Lord Kirsten's marital prospects heats up, the guests dive deep into the juiciest gossip about bloodlines and legitimacy. Poor Irene finds herself caught in the swirl of whispers, pondering her own past, living as Real's shadow, while everyone else seems obsessed with lineage drama. Irene Chess finds herself in a moment of introspection, pondering her own self-perception. As she reflects on her past, a mysterious figure, Noel Kirsten, comes to mind. The social buzz around her fades as she contemplates her identity and the paths ahead. In the midst of the party buzz, Irene Chess finds herself pondering the enigma of her past while navigating the high society scene. Just as things get interesting, a shadowy figure enters the narrative, tied to a family inheritance dilemma. This mysterious presence sets Irene's mind racing, as she wonders, how could this man? The ballroom is abuzz with excitement as the waltz kicks off. Everyone's curious if our girl Irene Chess will take to the dance floor, but she's not feeling it. Then, bam! Enter Noel Kirsten, the mysterious dude from her past. This guy's got everyone talking, and Irene can't help but be drawn into the memories of this man who's clearly got a story. Alright, so the scene's heating up in the ballroom. Noel Kirsten is facing off with some guest, and you can almost feel the tension crackling in the air. This guest is all up in Noel's face, trying to stir the pot, but Noel? He's as cool as a cucumber, brushing it off with a grin. Irene's watching the whole showdown from the sidelines, clearly intrigued by what's going down. So here we are at this fancy shindig, and folks are mingling, but not everyone is feeling the vibe. Some guests are yawning, hoping for some epic showdown, while a lady in a yellow dress finds herself under the spotlight. Feeling the heat, she makes a quiet exit, wanting nothing more than to ditch the drama. Our lady in the yellow dress is deep in thought, eyeing a certain gentleman with a big reputation. She's all about that loneliness he has, figuring it might just be the ticket to her own freedom. She's plotting, maybe a little deal with destiny, to snag the Grand Duke's title. But hey, she's not looking for love, just a way out. Easy? Not a chance. Our lady in yellow is on a mission, weaving through the garden, her eyes darting like she's lost her keys. Suddenly, there he is, the man with that aura of mystery, blending in with the roses. She's ready to make her move, but wait, how do you even start this chat? Classic case of all dressed up and nowhere to go in the conversation department. In the enchanting garden, the young woman in yellow finds herself in a tense moment with the distinguished man. As he begins to walk away, she reaches out, her fingers clutching his sleeve. Her voice trembling yet firm, she manages to utter, "Maybe I can help you." The air is thick with unspoken possibilities. Under the enchanting moonlight, Our lady in the yellow dress musters her courage and reaches out to the silver-haired gentleman. With a touch of reassurance, he tells her, "I won't run away, so you can let go now." Her face flushes with a mix of embarrassment and determination. She apologizes, but remains firm in her plea for his assistance. All right, so the woman in the yellow dress spills the tea about some rumors she heard around town. Turns out, our silver-haired friend, the distinguished man, is back in the spotlight as the Grand Duke. But he's not too worried, saying it's all the old man's crew behind the gossip. Things get a little tense as the night air thickens with drama. Our lady in the yellow dress drops a truth bomb. She's on the lookout for someone to help her ditch her current digs, and she's not ruling out tying the knot to make it happen. The silver-haired gentleman is taken aback, asking if she's proposing to him, and she admits it's a necessity. Under the glow of the moon, Our Lady in the yellow dress drops a bombshell on the distinguished silver-haired dude. She's not after love or power, just a legit marriage to escape her current situation. She's been burned by love before and isn't looking for any more heartbreak. Our Lady in the yellow dress is making some big moves, folks. She's decided she's not turning back or running away. No more regrets for her. She chats with the distinguished silver-haired man, suggesting they might help each other out. But as she rides away in a carriage, doubts creep in. Did she just propose without thinking? She's pondering what to do next. Is there another way, or is this it? Under the serene moonlight, the young woman in the pink dress whispers a name, Noelle Kirsten, her face a mix of determination and uncertainty. Meanwhile, the distinguished man with his sleek silver hair stands puzzled by her bold proposal. He muses, is she serious, while appreciating the romantic flair of her offer. Yet skepticism lingers as he wonders aloud, how can I trust you? Apologizing, he explains his predicament, I have more enemies than you could imagine, and questions her sudden intentions, reminding her of the marriage proposal she unexpectedly brought up. Under the shimmering night sky, our distinguished gentleman finds himself pondering the mysterious allure of the woman in the yellow dress. She might not be the typical high society lady, but there's something about her that stands out. Introducing herself as Irene Chi, she drops the bombshell. She's the eldest daughter of the Cheese family and a Royal Academy grad. Oh, and she's flying solo. No secret agenda here. If he's skeptical, she's game for a background check. Our distinguished gentleman, with his sharp features and silver hair, questions the lady in the yellow dress about her intentions. She shares her desire to dodge the pitfalls of past blunders. With a mix of apology and contemplation, he turns to leave, but not before she calls out, stopping him in his tracks. Our Lady in yellow, caught in a moment of deep reflection, looks up as if searching for answers in the stars. She's in her own world, pondering the weight of her choices. Our Lady in the yellow dress is caught in her feelings, wondering, did he ignore me? She's poured her heart into this, trying her best to play her role in this grand drama. Amidst the swirling petals and dreamy backdrops, Our Lady in the yellow dress is deep in thought. She's been wondering if she's been ignored, trying her best to make her mark. Now, it's all up to his decision. She muses that a vague answer isn't necessarily a no, gotta keep those hopes up. As the carriage rolls down the cobblestone street, Our Lady in the yellow dress jolts with a start. Her eyes widen, and she presses a hand against the window, whispering, wait a minute. Something's definitely up, and it looks like she's just had a light bulb moment. In the gentle glow of cherry blossoms, our young woman in the yellow dress suddenly feels a jolt. Please stop here for a moment, she says, her voice cutting through the soft ambiance as petals dance around her. In the shadows of the night, a cloaked figure makes their way to a door with a determined look. The thoughts racing through their mind speak of a desire for independence and making money away from the prying eyes of family. It's time to hustle on the down low. Inside a grand room filled with elegant decor, a cloaked figure steps in, greeted by a helpful attendant. But hold up, they're not here to shop. Nope, this mysterious guest has another agenda. Our mysterious cloaked figure steps forward, unveiling a painting with a flourish. With a confident ask, they request its value, and the attendant, ever ready, nods in agreement. As the cloaked figure passes the painting to the shop attendant, there's a sense of mystery in the air. The attendant, with a curious gleam in his eye, is ready to dive into the secrets of the artwork. Our young heroine, with her gentle features, is caught in a moment of deep reflection. She's staring at her painting, the weight of its meaning pressing on her heart. Turns out, she poured her soul into this piece, sneaking around to finish it behind her parents' backs. That's some secret dedication right there. Meanwhile, a man in a snazzy red vest gets all artsy, admiring a painting like it's the Mona Lisa. He's vibing with the perfect expressions, shading, and coloring. This masterpiece has got him shook. Our art enthusiast in the red vest is still swooning over the painting, convinced the artist is a delicate and lovable soul. He's all about those tiny details, like a flower bud that really tugs at his heartstrings. We find ourselves admiring a lovely painting of flowers, capturing the essence of nature in full bloom. Suddenly, an offer is made, 12 gold pieces for this masterpiece. It's a deal too good to pass up, and with a gracious bow, the invitation to revisit the gallery is extended. Who could say no to such charm and opportunity? Coins cascade from a pouch like a golden waterfall, and our central character ponders the daunting yet thrilling prospect of independence. The allure of freedom dances just out of reach, but those 12 gold pieces bring it tantalizingly close. Our young artist, decked out in her classic pink dress, is on cloud 9, having just pocketed her first earnings from her art. As she cherishes this sweet moment, we see a horse-drawn carriage elegantly trotting through a picturesque setting, hinting at new adventures on the horizon. As our young artist continues her journey from her first successful sale, she arrives at a grand location expecting at least a hint of a welcome. But alas, it's crickets out there. Nobody's home. The place is as empty as her paint palette after a long day. Our central character is feeling pretty beat and decides it's time to crash. As she heads to her room, her sister catches her, raising an eyebrow and asking if she just got back. Looks like a little sibling chat is on the horizon. As the night blankets the grand estate, we meet Irene Chase, the eldest daughter of Count Chase. She's got quite the backstory, having stayed with her uncle, Viscount Freyden, for 3 years before hitting the books at the academy from 17 to 21. In a lavish setting, a distinguished man with silver hair and sharp features curiously asks about Irene's delayed enrollment into the academy. His attentive companion suggests that Irene postponed her education to care for her ailing younger sister, Riel Chase. Talk about sibling goals. So our silver-haired gentleman is still mulling over why Irene joined the academy late. His trusty attendant chimes in, saying digging up the info was no walk in the park. The plot thickens as our mystery-loving attendant dishes out the scoop on some academy classmates. The intel? Relationships are as rocky as a bad rom-com, and our lady isn't exactly the social butterfly. The distinguished man, with his silver hair shining like a disco ball, ponders sending a sleuth to dig deeper. Our distinguished man, with his sharp silver hair and determined gaze, decides to take matters into his own hands. Instead of relying on secondhand info, he's going old school and plans to send a letter himself. Talk about taking charge. So, our silver-haired distinguished man is in his office, looking all dapper and sharp. He's eyeing his attendant, who seems a bit hesitant, and he's like, "Is there something else to report?" Clearly, he's all about those details, making sure nothing slips past him. In the midst of a library filled with books, a character is busy looking up info on Lady Chais. Despite asking around for potential brides, it's a no-go. But what's the deal with this sudden interest in Lady Chais, huh? Our scene continues in the cozy library, where our silver-haired investigator remains deep in his search about Lady Chais. Despite all the hustle, the results are still the same, leaving him pondering. Meanwhile, the brown-haired questioner, realizing it's time to bounce, politely takes his leave, leaving the room with a soft click of the ornate doors. As our silver-haired investigator ponders over the enigma that is Lady Chais, we find ourselves in a tranquil scene where a mysterious woman, decked out in golden elegance, holds a book close. Her lips part softly to whisper the name Irene, like she's holding on to a secret from the past. Our silver-haired investigator is back at it, flipping through a thick tome in the library. His eyes are glued to the pages, deep in thought about the enigma that is Lady Chais. What's he hoping to uncover in those dusty pages? Only time will tell. The scene shifts from the quiet library to a stunning mansion under a twinkling sky. Our mysterious blonde woman, looking quite regal in her fur-trimmed cloak, gracefully descends the grand staircase. She confides in another woman about waiting for her sister, who seemed to have ghosted the banquet. In the dim glow of the grand mansion's hallway, two sisters share a heartfelt moment. The blonde woman, wrapped in her elegant cloak, tells her sister, "You look beautiful." It's a scene straight out of a fairy tale as the night wraps them in its starry embrace. In the grand mansion, the blonde sister playfully inquires if her sibling was the belle of the ball, gathering admirers left and right at the banquet. The sister, clearly exhausted, leaves the question hanging in the air, as she decides to call it a night. As the sisters part ways, the atmosphere shifts from lighthearted to intense. The tired sister suddenly stops, spins around, and grips her sister's wrist with urgency. "Sister, you changed," she says, her voice a mix of concern and disbelief. "Something's definitely up, folks." In the dimly lit hallway, the sisters exchange compliments, but there's a sudden shift as one sister accuses the other of changing, possibly because of someone named Boris. The blonde sister, Riel, suggests her sibling should be thankful for discovering a man's true nature. With frustration in her voice, the tired sister tells Riel to stop. Our two sisters are caught in a whirlwind of emotions in the hallway. As the blonde one vents her frustrations, she reveals how every ignored moment weighs heavily on her. She's feeling the struggle, while her sister seems to float above it all. Drama alert, folks! As the sisters stand in the dimly lit hallway, emotions run high. Riel, the blonde sister, faces a hard truth. Her sibling accuses her of using her illness as a weapon. Stunned, Riel can only muster a bewildered, "What?" The drama continues as Riel, with her golden locks shimmering, stands tall in the dim hallway. She's called out for using her illness to her advantage, leaving her a bit shook. But she bounces back, all sass, claiming that marrying Boris, regardless of his mysteries, is her business. "Why should I thank you?" she snaps, turning the tables. As the emotional showdown unfolds, Riel stands her ground with fierce independence. Her face set with determination, she declares, "I won't thank you," making it clear she's not feeling any gratitude. The tension is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Amidst the shadows, emotions run high as the sisters' conflict intensifies. Riel, caught off guard by accusations, stands her ground. Her expression is one of defiance, as she refuses to show gratitude, owning her choices with fierce independence. Meanwhile, in the Grand Hall, a maid is taken aback when she receives a mysterious letter for Lady Irene. "Pardon," she says, clearly not expecting this twist. What could this letter be about? In this lavish setting, the plot thickens as a mysterious letter with no sender lands in the hands of the ever-diligent maid. She's baffled. Lady Irene never gets mail like this. As she ponders the mystery, one of the blonde sisters swoops in, asking if it's for her sister, catching the maid completely off guard. In a lavish living room, the scene unfolds with a blonde sister checking in on the maid, asking if she needs anything. She admits she was bored without her sister, so she went for a walk. The maid, caught off guard, softly exclaims, "My lady," as she is asked if the mysterious letter is indeed for her sister. The plot thickens. In the Grand Hall of Mystery, a letter arrives with no name, like a ghostly whisper in the night. Our blonde sister, decked out in golden accessories, inquires if it's for Lady Irene. The maid, looking puzzled and formal, confirms the letter's anonymity, adding a sprinkle of suspicion. It's Lady Irene's first brush with the outside world, and it's already getting spicy. The blonde sister, with a confident nod, decides to hand the mysterious letter over to her sister. The maid, looking a tad flustered, tries to explain, but words seem to escape her. It's clear this letter is stirring up a bit of mystery in the household. In the heart of a lavish setting, a noblewoman with a gentle resolve asks, "I want to reconcile with her. Will you let me do it?" Her maid, recognizing the lady's kind nature, thinks to herself, "That's right, Lady Riel is this kind of person." With a supportive nod, she responds, "Of course, my lady. Good luck." Lady Riel is on a mission. As her dress sways with determination, she opens the door to reveal a desk cluttered with letters and a fancy seal. Looks like she's about to pen down some heartfelt words, ready to seal the deal. Literally. Lady Riel, all poised and ready to take action, spots a curious letter on her desk. The room's ambiance shifts as she reads it, her face turning a shade of surprise. The letter's contents leave her baffled, and she murmurs, "Why you?" What's written in that letter, though? The suspense thickens. Lady Riel, our noblewoman with the golden locks and purple headband, is on a mission. She's been reviewing letters, but one particular note has her shook. With a dramatic flair, she questions the universe. Why not me? Clearly, things are getting real. The scene opens under a bright blue sky, where a horse gallops gracefully, its hooves echoing like a heartbeat of excitement. The air is filled with anticipation, hinting that something or someone is about to make an entrance. The day couldn't be brighter as our trusty horse trots along, setting the stage for a grand entrance. Inside the carriage, a sharp-dressed nobleman with silver hair peeks out, curious about the commotion. His gaze lands on Lady Ryle, standing gracefully with her maid. Is that her? He wonders, as leaves gently dance in the breeze. The nobleman's carriage has arrived, and with a click of his polished shoe, he steps onto the ground. His expression is a mix of curiosity and anticipation. What's catching his eye? Maybe it's the presence of Lady Riel, or just the vibe of the place. Either way, he's about to make some moves. As the nobleman steps out of his carriage, Lady Riel, looking elegant with her blonde locks and purple headband, greets him with a warm, "Welcome, my lord." The nobleman, sharp in his silver-haired glory, ponders, she doesn't look like a maid. Who is she? Clearly, curiosity is in the air. Our silver-haired nobleman, looking all sharp and dapper, is on a mission. He throws out the big question, where is Lady Irene Scheisse? Meanwhile, Lady Riel, with her blonde locks and purple headband, steps up with an apology. She explains that her sister is busy and has tasked her with rolling out the welcome wagon. Lady Riel, standing amidst a burst of flowers, introduces herself with elegance. "My name is Riel Chase. I'm Irene's younger sister." The nobleman, his curiosity piqued, thinks to himself, her younger sister, as he processes this unexpected twist. Lady Riel stands gracefully, her golden hair adorned with a purple headband, as she introduces herself as Irene's younger sister. The nobleman, with his sharp silver hair, is taken aback by this revelation. He can't help but notice how different the sisters look from each other. Curiosity piqued, he cautiously asks, excuse me," clearly seeking more answers. Lady Riel, flaunting her dazzling blonde hair and chic purple headband, continues her chat with the nobleman. She curiously asks for his name, and he reveals himself as Noel Kirsten. A bit puzzled, Noel wonders if Irene skipped the introductions. Riel, clearly taken aback, questions if he's the son of Grand Duke Kirsten. Things are getting interesting. Noel Kirsten, the nobleman with the dazzling silver hair, confirms his identity as the son of Grand Duke Kirsten. Lady Riel, ever the fangirl, bursts out with an "oh my god" and confesses she's always admired him. You can almost see the stars in her eyes. Lady Riel gushes about Noel Kirsten, the young lord. She's heard he's a genius with a squad of loyal servants. Her enthusiasm paints a vivid picture of admiration. Meanwhile, Noel stands there, probably blushing under all that praise. Lady Riel continues to shower Noel Kirsten with compliments, clearly impressed by his reputation as a young genius. But wait, what's this about being the illegitimate child inheriting the duchy? Noel looks a bit taken aback, while Lady Riel is all excited, exclaiming how amazing it is to meet him. Noel's thinking, she talks a lot, and then, bam! Lady Riel drops the question about his relationship with her sister. The plot thickens. Lady Riel is buzzing with excitement as she showers Noel Kirsten with compliments, impressed by his intellect and reputation. Caught off guard, Noel listens as she mentions his status as an illegitimate child set to inherit the duchy. Amidst her chatter, she curiously probes about his relationship with her sister. Noel, keeping it cool, says there's no relationship, at least not yet. In his mind, he notes how different Lady Riel looks compared to her sister, Irene. Lady Riel, still buzzing with excitement, invites Noel to step inside and meet her father. Seems like she's been itching to escape her home turf for a while. The place is grand, with maids lined up, adding to the whole royal vibe. As Lady Riel prepares to meet Noel, a mysterious letter with a blue seal floats in the air. Someone's worried that the letter might not have reached its destination. What's the deal with this letter? Is it the missing link to Lady Riel's restlessness? Inside the grand estate, Lady Riel stares pensively out the window, her mind swirling with uncertainty. She's questioning if Noel, with his sharp silver hair and noble demeanor, truly believes her words. It's a moment of doubt and introspection as she sits alone, lost in her thoughts. In the midst of all this noble drama, Lady Riel is caught in a whirlwind of thoughts. She catches a glimpse of Noel, looking all kinds of uncomfortable, and she's left pondering her next move. Oh, the tangled webs we weave. Our story kicks off with a young woman, all dressed in blue, pondering her art career, or lack thereof. Despite her noble roots, she can't sell her paintings to save her life. And to make matters worse, her dad's got her on lockdown, refusing to let her live solo. Our protagonist stands lost in thought, her mind swirling with worries about her unsold paintings and her father's tight grip on her life. She wonders what might happen if she decides to break free and go her own way. Our scene opens with a heartfelt vibe as a young woman in a lovely pink dress shares a quiet, emotional moment. She's worried that someone might be left without care, and the falling petals add a touch of drama. Meanwhile, another woman with long brown hair seems to be piecing things together, her expression a mix of concern and determination. In a cozy room, our young lady in a pink dress is in deep contemplation, mulling over her options. She's at a crossroads, thinking about someone as her last resort. Determined not to give up, she decides to ask the maid if any letters have arrived. Her quest for answers continues. Our young lady in pink is on a mission, folks. She's all about finding that crucial piece of mail. She hits up the maid, Lady Irene, asking if any letters have arrived. But alas, the answer is a big fat no. Undeterred, she asks the maid to double-check. You gotta admire her persistence. Our young woman in the pink dress is in a bit of a tizzy. She's confronting the maid, Lady Irene, with an urgent tone, asking if she really didn't receive anything. Her face shows a mix of surprise and determination as she tries to make sense of the maid's response. Our story picks up with the young woman in the pink dress, eyes blazing with determination as she corners the maid, Lady Irene. Tell me the truth, she commands, her voice slicing through the air. The maid, clearly flustered, stutters, My lady. But our protagonist isn't having it and cuts straight to the chase. Where is my letter? The tension is as thick as a plot twist. Amidst the heated exchange, the scene shifts to a peaceful view of vibrant blue flowers swaying gently. It's a stark contrast to the earlier tension, offering a brief respite from the drama. So this was all for this part. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't worry, there's more to come. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated.